Hey there, friends. Watching videos from Hawaii, you almost always think, man, I'd love to be there. Well, when you hear about what's happening in Hawaii, you realize, I'm glad I'm not there. But first, guys, go check out my friends at CMMG. They're at cmmg.com. You're going to find a ton of different things, not only fully assembled and complete rifles, but you can also find some of the most reliable parts kits on the market. I've been using their parts kits for 10 years now. They have clearly some of the best parts kits, accessories for your AR-15, for your own home builds. They also have really cool mystery boxes. You want to check those out. I just got my second mystery box in yesterday. I will probably do an unboxing of that online tomorrow, but check those out as well. If you use my code FTATF, again, FTATF, you will get 10% off of whatever you purchase at cmmg.com. So use my code FTATF and get 10% off today. According to The Reload, gun sales have been blocked for much of December in Hawaii's largest city. That's what the Hawaii Firearms Coalition, a local gun rights group, claimed in a statement on Wednesday. It said the Honolulu Police Department has advised gun purchase or carry permit applicants that they won't process them without a currently unattainable training certification, and it's unclear when those permits might actually become available again. Here's a video from the Hawaii Firearms Coalition's Facebook page describing this.
SB 1230 was signed into law earlier this year in June and July. In that law, we had some big changes. One of the biggest changes is to the permitting and registration system. So, starting January 1st, if you want to buy a handgun in Hawaii, you have to have taken a class by a certified instructor. That certification is done by the county police departments. As of right now, no county is certifying any instructors. They can't do that until after January 1st. So what that means is that if you've taken a class in the past, so this year or previous year, that class is going to be void. You are going to have to take that class again. The hunter's education class is no longer accepted for handgun purchases. If you wish to buy a rifle, you're going to have at least a hunter's education class have been taken. You can do that online, or you can do the in-person one, or you can take the handgun class and that would cover you as well. But that doesn't go into effect until after January 1st. Any permits that you have right now is good for 1 year from the date of issue, so you still have time to get one in this year. In Honolulu, the police department on Wednesdays is open until 6:30 p.m. In the other counties, please see your county websites for that. The certification process for instructors, none of the counties has announced what they're going to do yet. All I can tell you is that nobody is certified, and nobody can get certified until after January 1st, is what I'm hearing from the Honolulu Police Department, at least. Concealed carry licenses, same thing. It's going to have to be from a certified instructor. The Honolulu Police Department has told me that anybody that is a certified instructor now will need to get recertified in January. That means if you're taking a class after January, whether that's a concealed carry license or a basic handgun class, please make sure that your instructor is certified. The NRA certification is not going to cut it anymore. It needs to be certified by the police department. They should have some sort of email or certificate to be able to show you that. If you don't get that from them, they are taking your money and wasting it. You're going to need to take that class again.
So you see, these people pass a rule. They understand and realize that something has to be done in order for the little plebes like you and I to be able to comply with the rule, but they don't put the mechanism in place for you to be able to comply. So they make a rule within a rule, they don't enforce that rule within that rule, so you can never fully comply and be okay to not only get a concealed carry permit, but also this is also to include purchasing a firearm over there. So firearm sales are halted. There's upwards to probably hundreds of thousands of dollars of firearm sales that are being lost right now simply because the police department does not have a mechanism in place to certify people who want to purchase a firearm, certify the training of people who want to purchase a firearm. Now, we've obviously got Bruin that's still in place, and Bruin would render this entire process that they have over there unconstitutional. So the people of Hawaii are obviously going to have to wait until it reaches that Supreme Court level, or at least a higher court for that matter. Now, why does all this matter? Of course, most of us realize that Hawaii is essentially a group of communist islands. I don't ever intend to go over there, can't bring a gun over there. I'm never going to be able to qualify to have a gun in Hawaii because I'm not a Hawaiian resident. It's a place I don't ever intend to go. I'll look at the pictures if I want to see pretty water. But it matters stateside, the mainland, mainly because this is a perfect example of how these smaller communities aren't doing things at a federal level. Again, they're doing it at the local, smaller municipal level, county, parish, state level, where they're going to pass laws that have these stupid little caveats in there that they're still going to let you have firearms if you qualify by their rules. The reason why it's important is because this is an exact example of what can happen when they purposely act stupid. They knew this was going to happen. They knew that they had to create a process in order to certify the new trainers out there. They simply didn't do it. Why? Because it didn't matter. It doesn't matter if they follow the rules. They're the ones making these rules. So if they decide not to make the rule in time to allow people to do something, what are you going to do about it? Now, you could file suit against them because your Second Amendment rights have in fact been infringed upon. But is anybody really going to do that? Not many people are willing to actually step out and do that. So it matters here in the mainland simply because these other counties and communities, they're all copycat people. They're going to at some point start to pass these local laws that infringe upon the Second Amendment. And they're going to realize that, hey, all we have to do is stumble, act stupid, and not actually fulfill our obligation in order to create the compliance mechanism. Well, guess what? When there's no compliance mechanism created, no one can comply. So you're not going to let them go around the law. You're going to make them wait. You're going to stop all sales. They'll apply this to gun sales. They'll apply this to concealed carry permits. They'll apply this to a number of different things out there, because this is a way to infringe upon people's Second Amendment rights without actually having to do it through the voting system, through a new law. You just act stupid and incompetent, and in the back room you laugh about it. Because the whole time you look like, oh, we're sorry, we weren't able to do this. And the voter, the actual end user, you and I, are the ones left holding the bag, or in this case, not being able to protect yourselves. What about the battered wives out there who need a firearm? This is that time of year when bad things happen, this high stress levels during the holiday seasons. What about the single mom who finally decided to leave her abusive boyfriend or husband? That guy has threatened to kill her or threatened to harm her or the family, and she wants a firearm and she can't get it right now. Oh, that sounds like that's kind of stupid, that's reaching. This happens every single day. So now you kept that single mom that's finally gotten strong enough and empowered enough to leave that abusive relationship, and now she cannot protect herself or her family. This runs deep, guys. This is something that when we talk about local, smaller elections, why it matters. This police chief in Honolulu was appointed by a mayor that the liberal citizens of Honolulu voted in. That's why it matters when you vote for mayor. We have a pretty crappy mayor down here where I live. He appointed a police chief. The jury is still out on that police chief. Not as good as the one we've had before, but the jury is still out on him. In other words, he hasn't done anything anti-Second Amendment. And really in this area in the South, it would be hard for him to pull that off. But in another area where you guys are going to allow these liberal, wacko, left-leaning mayors to get in office, this is the kind of stuff at that local level that's going to creep in to gun laws and things like that. And again, that's where they're going to use the playbook of this particular instance simply to say, hey guys, this is our workaround. This is the way we are going to figure out how to infringe upon people's Second Amendment rights without them knowing that we're actually trying to do that. Look for places like California to attempt to do this. This is relatively new in this type of stalling and this type of backdoor gun control as far as this process being like this. In other words, them creating a law and then not enabling that compliance mechanism to be in place for people to comply, them failing to do that. And then now the law goes into place, but there's no way to comply with the law. It's not like it reverts back to the old law. It does not. The new law will still be in place on January 1st. Just because that mechanism is not in place does not mean the law is not going to move forward. Now, maybe that means, and it's never going to happen, maybe that means you write into the new laws that if you have not built that compliance mechanism into your new law by the time it's supposed to go in place, it does not go into effect and the old law stays in effect. That's never going to happen because these people still are a group of liberals, anti-gun people who hate the Second Amendment writing these laws, and they're not going to allow that to go in there, especially in a place like Honolulu where there are no conservative Second Amendment supporters over there. So this is dangerous. This may seem like it's happening out in the middle of nowhere in a communist island out in the Pacific and it doesn't have any effect here, but it absolutely does. Lawmakers are genuinely stupid and they will copy somebody else's format if it works. And in this case, this is infringed upon Second Amendment rights people. This is infringed upon Second Amendment rights supporters. And this is going to be used in other areas. Mark my word on this.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's so horrible.